we sat here a week ago. We were on the eve of the India game, and Wade, a lot has happened in the last week and few days. We literally walked out of our chat, and Dale Steyn was ruled out. Then we've had the AB saga. We lost to India, and then West Indies game washed out. So where does that leave the Proteas? 1 point from 4 games, on the verge of getting knocked out of the World Cup, and near the bottom of the log. It hasn't been a happy time at all.
No, it leaves the Proteas in 9th out of 10 teams. We knew this World Cup we weren't favourites, so we knew we were in for a struggle, but no one could have predicted just how badly it started. I think that this break after the West Indies game would really favour the Proteas, so that they've got some time to work through their issues. They've been saying the right things, so let's hope for a couple of solid nets and a refreshed mental state before they go into Afghanistan, and then there's another quick turnaround before the next 2 games.
Let's touch briefly on AB, because I don't think we can. The Proteas have seemed to move on quite quickly from it all, and naturally attempting to do that. But what have you made of AB coming out? It seems like on the eve of the first game, making a phone call to Faf du Plessis and saying, "Hey, listen, how's about a last minute ticket to the World Cup?" Is that really what What?
Yeah, there's been a lot of things said about the timing of it all. I think that the gist of it is AB wanted to play at the World Cup. He did retire a year before, and he couldn't broker a deal with CSA about how much he would play in the build-up. He wanted to play. It's quite interesting that Faf du Plessis didn't come out and back him. They go back a long way, and it'll be interesting to see how their relationship unfolds over the next few years, as obviously Faf is going into the twilight of his playing career too. AB, I don't know how you leave a guy like that out. It's probably an unpopular view considering he did retire, but there's been lots of sportsmen. Michael Johnson retired. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Michael Phelps, Paul Scholes. Every sport's done it. The best, if they're available and still playing, and obviously AB was still on IPL duty. You find a way. Sport's tough. You make hard decisions, and if one of the players had to get left out, none of the guys are batting well now in terms of runs. Amla, Markram, Rassie van der Dussen, so one of those 3 could have been left out, and AB would have been a massive bolter and would have struck a lot of fear into other teams' bowling lineups.
Yeah, I hear what you say, but I probably disagree on the front that if I was Faf and AB had phoned me on the day before or 2 days before and said, well, I'm thinking about maybe making myself available, I think Faf said he passed the message on. I would have said I'm not interested in passing the message on, because it's the most ridiculous thing that you've retired and then kind of at the last minute put your hand up for selection. But let's move beyond that, because like Otis Gibson said, AB can't help them, and neither can Dale Steyn now. So where to from here for the Proteas? Because there's still a mathematical chance of them qualifying. Everything needs to go in their favour. They can have no more rained out games. So is there a way forward for them? The call-up being Reza Hendricks. Can he add something a little bit different as left arm? Bjorn Hendricks as the left arm seamer?
Yeah, I think he's going to be desperately unlucky, because Ngidi should be fit, and they'll play Ngidi over Bjorn Hendricks. I don't think Bjorn Hendricks will probably get a game. They're not going to leave out Tahir, and he offers little with the bat. So we could see the fact that Bjorn gets flown up, starts that West Indies game, doesn't get a chance, and that's him done for the World Cup, provided Ngidi can stay fit. As you say, where to from here? The batsmen need to deliver. We can't be scared to bat first just because players are out of form. The talk is that they're all one shot away from form. I believe that that's got to be further from the truth. You need to show a lot more than one good cover drive or one flick down off the pads for 4 to play your way into form, to play your way to 100. Someone like Quinton de Kock needs to bat through. Faf needs to bat big, and then give the bowler something to bowl at. We've actually been quite okay in the bowling department. Tahir has done well, and so has Petlakaya. I think
Rabada stood up in that India game and brought up the fire.
And he was let down in the field early on. I mean, that India game, we weren't so far away from getting a better result in that game. So we're not that far off, but it's do or die. Every game is must win. And can they do it? Yes, we can beat Afghanistan, of course, but New Zealand will be an entirely different prospect in the next one. Yeah. That said, 1 win brings 2, and we need 5.
Yeah. So I guess the Afghanistan game could get the ball rolling and a bit of momentum, which they desperately need. But they have to have the big players step up and make a statement. Probably Amla being one of them. Do you see Amla continuing to be back despite a bit of, he had a couple of knocks that weren't too bad in the warm-ups, but he's looked again to fall out of form. Do you go, he needs to drop away and you back Markram and then reshuffle maybe with another all-rounder coming in there? I mean, what do they do with Hash?
Well, yeah, they play him. This Gibson will play him. They'll favour experience now with, things haven't gone their way. There's no time to sort of experiment and throw different things in. I've been very interested to see the demise of JP Duminy over a very short period of time in this World Cup, going from a batsman, or going from an all-rounder to batsman only to dropped. He offers very little with the ball, and I'm glad they've sort of given that up. And he just hasn't performed with the bat over a number of innings now. So let's back Markram, Van der Dussen, maybe experiment with Dwayne Pretorius, because he can wield the willow a bit. But yeah, they'll definitely play Amma, and maybe this team needs to get that balance right of one extra batting all-rounder.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up. I mean, we were chatting off air and you mentioned that you feel that they've actually handled the AB thing quite well, and it doesn't seem to have derailed the team unity. I mean, is that the key facet for them? Is that still to somehow, even in a controversy and poor results, to retain some sort of team cohesion and to take that into the next game?
Yeah, I think the press haven't gone easy on them. They've had to field a lot of questions, and I was surprised at how well they've manned up to their losses, to their out of form, to the AB, to where they find themselves in the tournament. So let's see if Faf, his leadership was spoken about a lot in the build-up to this World Cup, and let's see if he can pull the guys together. A lot's been said about body language. Let's see if Faf can really rally the troops over these next two games before they face Pakistan and Sri Lanka. I'd love it to sort of get us in with a chance, and then really everything do or die against Australia in our last game.
All right, cool. Thanks, Wade. Let's hope for a less eventful week before we next catch up.
Sure.